So I wanted to give my thoughts on The Last of Us, how it's working out as a TV show. First of all, big fan of the games. I thought the second game was still very, very good, despite the controversy with the decision they made with the narrative. But for me, the first season of the show was very good in many ways. Like the sets looked incredible. They really replicated the game. I know Neil Druckmann, who's the creative director for Naughty Dog that make The Last of Us, was heavily involved in that, and that would have been important to him. And they had a big budget to play with as well. And they're really going full throttle now by already announcing a third season when the second season is currently underway, because, it's going to be split into two parts based on the second game. But I also found the first season to be very underwhelming. As someone who has played that game several times, it's like my favorite game of all time. I think it's a masterpiece. I'm talking specifically about the first one with that. I, like a lot of people, just didn't really understand why they gave the job to Bella to play Ellie. It's not necessarily only because she doesn't look like Ellie. I don't know. I feel like if if an actor is playing a very well-known, established character, they do need to resemble them rather than feel like a kind of Team U version that's been ordered online. It's like, that's not the real, like straight away you're just like, yeah, it's not really the person that I expected. But with that in mind, Bella is getting, I guess hate is the word. She's basically getting bullied and torn to pieces online, and I do not agree with it at all. There are memes where people are, there's that picture of a potato that looks like it's got a face, and people have tagged it, Joel wake the fuck up or whatever, like from the second game. But it's so constant. Like there are so many posts with loads of likes and laughter emojis and people trying to defend her and say, look, she's a young person. She will see this. You're just being hurtful. You're just attacking someone's appearance. And that is a pussy move. And it really is. I don't know if you can hear the thumping. That's my rabbit. So yeah, I have to say with season 2 so far, bearing in mind I've seen the 3 episodes that have aired. Roxy, can you please stop thumping? I thought they're doing a pretty good job. The first episode was like, all right, it's a little bit of a slow build up, as was the start of the game. And it's showing this separation between Joel and Ellie. They're no longer very close. I felt like Ellie wasn't really replicating the character we knew in the game. It was like just taken up a notch too far where she's being just really spiteful. And maybe not coming across in the best way, because we have to remember what made Ellie a great character is she's so quirky and funny and likable. So I can see a lot of people be like, what, they're butchering the character that I know. Not to mention, one of the big problems people have with Bella Ramsey playing Ellie is in part 2, it's like 5 years on from the first game. And we need to believe that this character is a badass who is capable of violence and killing people much bigger than herself without it looking strange. And in the first episode, she's doing jiu-jitsu or whatever. Jiu-jitsu? Jewish? Shalom. And it does look a little bit strange because she doesn't look like she's grown much as a person physically since the first season. We still look like we're watching a girl who in reality is in her 20s, but looks like she could be like 15 or 16, taking down this dude. And, if you've played the game, that's only the beginning, as you'll know. But bearing in mind, first episode, I didn't think it was bad by any means. And I liked seeing Kevin McAllister's mum as a therapist. And that's another bit they've added. And here's the thing. A lot of people are very like anti-Last of Us now, and they're just kind of joining this army of hate and calling it a woke show. Oh, Joel's in therapy, how woke? Like, it's really not that big a deal. Yes, it wasn't in the game, but it doesn't have to replicate the game. Having said that, going back to season 1, another criticism, and also an area of a lot of praise, was episode 3, where they turned Bill from this small character that Joel and Ellie run into and get some help from, into a full-fledged story just about him and this guy Frank. When I watched that episode, I will admit Not for me. That's putting it kindly. I thought the episode was trash. I don't want to see two guys making out and eating strawberries. This isn't the game that I loved. So for me at that point, I was very concerned that what are they doing here? I'm not the audience this is for, clearly, because we've got enough gay shit everywhere. Like, I'm not trying to say gay shit as if there's anything wrong with being gay, but I do think there is a problem now with films, TV shows, media as a whole, where everything is just like rammed down your throat. Like, hey, we've cast a new Snape for the Harry Potter series. It's a black guy with short hair. We know you wanted the other guy that looks a bit like Snape, but fuck you. And there's nothing wrong with including more races in film and media, but when you take a very established white character and make them black, like, why? What's the fucking point in that? Makes no sense at all. Like, when I saw Harry Potter at the theatre, very good by the way, The Cursed Child, I was wondering in the beginning, like, what is this going to be like? Because it's got very good reviews, but I also saw some criticism. And it was very good. I really enjoyed it. But a couple of things with that where I question, okay, like, it doesn't bother me because it doesn't matter, but why would you change the race of a very well-established character? In the books, Hermione, I was going to say Emma Watson, but Hermione Granger is a white girl. In the theatre, she's black. And it's like an adult version of her. And then Draco Malfoy's son is in the theatre show, and he's very, very much gay. And the whole time there's like this storyline going on where you're like, pretty sure that Harry Potter's boy and Draco Malfoy's boy are falling in love and they're going to like make out, and it's going a bit Brokeback Mountain, which I've not seen, but I'm just imagining what that film would be like. They don't, by the way, spoiler alert, in the theatre show, but it's kind of heavily hinted the whole time that they're like falling in love with each other. So it's a bit like, okay, not sure. Well, actually, I was going to say not sure JK would have wanted it that way, but I'm pretty sure she wrote The Cursed Child, so point proven. It's just because she's so outspoken about the, trans women stuff that you kind of figure she'd be against gay people or something. Moving on. Going back to the show, the biggest part to discuss, as you'll know if you've played the game, is Joel being killed. I didn't know if they were going to do it in episode 2. A lot of people questioned whether they're going to do it early, like happens in the game within like the first 2 hours of playing the game, which is why it got such an immediate hate wagon. But they do it in episode 2, and they change it slightly. Abby now has a monologue. Abby looks, a lot less physically intimidating because she's not like this steroided character. And when the game came out, and I saw the leaks before I played it, which I'm annoyed about now because I really would have liked to enjoy that game without knowing, and I knew a few key parts, which is a real shame. But a lot of people are like, oh, they're putting a trans character in. Abby's actually just like fucking buff as shit. Like, her dad's a doctor, she's got access to steroids, I guess, and she wants to be physically tough. But if you can take away from that, because I know some people can't, because I have seen comments online where people are saying, why the fuck they're just casting everything wrong. Caitlin Dever, she's like super fucking skinny, looks nothing like Abby from the game. To me, I can look past that if the acting is good. And I have to say with Caitlin, the acting was phenomenal. And I have to say as well that Bella, and I was watching her through a spotlight with this episode because I know she needs to carry the show pretty much now because there's a lot of Ellie and Dina time, just them two carrying the show. Again, they might change stuff, but very good. Can't fault it. People can take the piss out of her appearance and say she's got like a potato face or something. Or say she's ugly. That's just cruel and irrelevant. If she can act, I think give the show a chance. And I get it as well, by the way. It's not as simple as just don't watch the show if you don't like it. People have a right to give criticism where the criticism is fair. Because The Last of Us is such a beloved franchise and that first game is so important to a lot of people. Like, that game seriously, I don't want to say like changed my life, but there are some key emotional moments in that game where I feel more connected to those characters than I do with some of the people I know in my day-to-day life. That might sound crazy, but it's true. And so people will get annoyed if they feel like this franchise is being like ruined. I'll give you another example. So Stormbreaker was a film based on the first book about Alex Rider, a teenage spy. The books are written by Anthony Horowitz, almost forgot his name, and the books are phenomenal. They actually ended up more recently doing some TV series episodes based on the first. Well, I think they started with Point Blank. That's what it's called, isn't it? Not Point Break. That's a film with Keanu Reeves, and it was good, really good. But the film, despite I feel they cast well for Alex, this good-looking guy, Alex Pettifer, for the main role, and some of the other choosings were fine. It was really poor. It was awful. Like, the biggest problem for me with that is the actors are portraying characters that are really over the top, and this is not how people act in real life. That's not what that's meant to be. It's not some fantasy world. It's this teenage spy, which is completely fucking real. But casting is important. And people pull up pictures of actresses or lookalikes for Ellie, and they're like, they could have literally given the job to this person and tried to make him an actor. But apparently, Ashley Johnston, I think that's her name, right? The voice actress for Ellie, who I absolutely love. I think she had the overruling judgment and said, give it to Bella. Now, some people who are cynical might say she didn't want to be upstaged. But yeah, I have to say, again, third episode, good. It's interesting as well, because we are all so shallow as human beings, aren't we? Let's just be honest. In episode 3, Ellie's hair's like longer or Bella's technically, she looks more like the part, and that's important to people. So all it would have taken is draw some freckles on and try, I think, for people to be a bit less critical. But I still feel like people are being very harsh to someone who ultimately is very young and doesn't deserve this kind of hate online. And ultimately, you're just bullying people because you're a cunt. Straight out. So let me know your thoughts on the show. I am very interested to see how it plays out. I look forward to the episodes at the moment. Again, I think Caitlin was great. I quite liked the monologue. I know she acted that scene 3 days after her own mum's funeral, so she probably pulled from some of that emotion and anger. But yeah, I think Pedro is a pretty good Joel, by the way. A little bit cold and detached in the first season for me, but ultimately good enough, you know. And again, probably doesn't look a lot like Joel, really, but that shouldn't be super important if the acting is good. But thank you for watching. I look forward to hearing your thoughts below. See you later.